We're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glasser coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week. And on this latest episode of the PCC Multiverse, we covered a lot of pop culture news. So go ahead and catch up to what is going on in the world of pop culture with Melinda and I this weekend with the PCC Multiverse on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, wherever you get your podcasts and on radio stations worldwide. Plus also as well, Game Source and Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Chris Sardieri talked for another 45 minutes on some great stuff that you need to know about what's going on in the NFL training camps, the battles, the sagas, the news, the holdouts, everything you need to know for your fantasy team. So go ahead and check it out today, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus also as well, Joe Soro, who I don't think is going to make it in because he's doing Joe Soro-like things. He is now also as well doing some stuff for Simblades with a Y.com. Plus, he always has to go ahead and mouth off. If it's not on this show, he's mouthing off his Ox 1947 at LakersBall.com. Plus also as well, the Magic Man, he may not make it in either because he's at the Toronto Blue Jays game. He's having a life. God bless him. So go ahead and make sure you check him out each and every time out as the Magic Man here as well. But our good friends, Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom, the number one Lakers blogger that's out there, Laker Tom, and that is by statistics. Maybe it's just because he likes to put out so many fantastical trade requests. That counts as a blog. Well, those guys, Lakerholics, will be here Saturday at 10 a.m. I did get the confirmation. They're looking to go ahead and entertain you. They actually will finally get through. Get this. If you remember last week, they were covering Laker Tom's article at that time, the 10 questions 10 Lakers have to answer in order to win a championship. The problem is they only got through 5. Well, they are going to go ahead and try and tackle the other 5 on this week because they argue so damn much. They are going to go ahead and try and tackle the other 5 questions on this weekend show, plus talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo as well. Also as well, our good friend John McCallion, big shout out to him, big supporter of ours. Cannot thank him enough for his help. Plus also Stone Hansen, TJ Johnson, everybody for helping us to get to that magical number, which I'll talk about in a sec. But if you can, please go ahead and support John McCallion. He is on his way to losing 100 pounds by October. He's 50 down, 50 to go. So we're rooting for you, John. Go ahead and subscribe today to his channel. And speaking of subscribers, my God, in the past 24 hours, we have received over 250 new subscribers to this channel, putting us over the 1,000 mark. We're now over 1,200 subscribers long. We're just so proud. We're just so thankful. We're just so blessed and humbled by your absolute kindness towards us. And if you're not yet a subscriber, you got to go ahead and do so. Hit that little beady eyed Joe right below EmpireJeffTV. He's right there. So go ahead and click on today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. And if you do support us at anywhere of our social media outlets, and of course, also as well, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. And if you always have a question, in the comments below, in the comments on the side, or Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. But truly want to thank Darren as well as our first audio subscriber. You could go ahead and do that on Spotify, but also to each and every one of you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts right here for going and getting us over that magical 1,000 subscriber mark earlier today, right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. So with all that out of the way, why are you here? You're here to talk Lakers. And everybody loves talking Lakers. And a great channel that you also need to support is a great one indeed. You got to go ahead and check it out today as EmpireJeffTV. It's at EmpireJeffTV on YouTube. Also as well, the Agree to Disagree podcast. It is EmpireJeffTV. And Jeff, you've been a very great member of our chat. I am truly blessed and thank you for that. But I'm now even more happy that you're here with us talking Lakers today.
That's it. I'm happy to be here. And that's an impressive monologue to start a video right there. My God, great job.
I'm trying.
I can never make it through a monologue like that. I'm too ADD. So God bless you. That was incredible.
Well, with me, it's just the thing, because I've been podcasting since 2009, and this show has been 2019. But I make an effort, first of all, if you take the time out of your day to help us as a small network out, because we were not, even up to this point right now, we're still not in the position where we can pay people or compensate anyone or anything like that. Because, as you know, you've got a small YouTube channel like
Yeah.
ours and
Mhm.
yours. You got to work hard to get to that. You know what? It takes great people in their lives. And if they're doing something that is deserving of them being pushed or being promoted by us, we will definitely go ahead and do that. And that just takes memory. I just repetition. And I just got to make sure if I do forget someone out there, I truly apologize, but I try to make sure I hit up everybody I can, because you take the time out of your day to help us. We're going to try to take out time out of your day to help you. I think it just
True,
goes
true, true.
back and forth. But your show is really cool. Actually, to tell you the truth, between you and I tell this story every now and then, your channel was the way I wanted to do my channel
Oh yeah.
in the original, because Lakers Fast Break was supposed to have been the model, and the idea was supposed to have been for a quick conversation, a quick podcast to get you going, to get you up to speed, to get you the info, and then really get you on your way. And then Laker Tom came in, started having conversations with him. And I just realized, you know what? 20, 30 minutes is just not going to do it, my friend.
Yeah. It's funny because I didn't intend for it to be like that either. I intended it to be a little bit more long form, more live streams and stuff like that. But come to find out, as I'm doing right now, I seem to spend a lot of time on other people's channels and in doing that, which is great. I love it. I enjoy it. And then I get to kind of just morphed in. I got to go and just stay active to keep my channel active. And that's just starting to work for me. So that was just kind of happened organically. It wasn't even intentional. So it was just, I just
Absolutely.
really enjoy like spending time in your chat, spending time in all these other shows, chats, and contributing. And first and foremost, congratulations on the 1,000. That's incredible. I know how hard that is to do. I'm trying to get there myself. So, I've talked to a lot of people about that journey to get there. And what they typically say is once you get there, it goes. So, congrats to you and the team. Hard work. I watch you guys all the time. You guys are great. Very informative, very knowledgeable. I don't learn from a lot of shows. I learn from your guys' show. So that's and I'm not talking, I'm just saying like you guys know what you're doing and it's a quality show. So salute to you guys for your hard work.
Well, this is hopefully the first of many appearances that you can have on our show. I'm going to put you on the email list to join us anytime that you so choose. We are going to help try and boost your show and your channel because, like you, it was really hard. It's been really hard to get it to the first 1,000. That's what I heard. The same thing from you is the same thing I heard. The first 1,000's always the toughest. The first 1,000's always the toughest. So let's put that to the test. We got the first 1,000, so let's see where we goes from here. And we are the guinea pigs at the Lakers Fast Breakup. All those other channels and all those other YouTube people are right about how the first 1,000 is the toughest. We'll actually put that into play. But Empire Jeff, our goal and our mission, if Joe is here right now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just probably go ahead and imitate Joe, but this is probably what I say. Jeff, we're going to make it our mission to go ahead and get you to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's what we're going to do. Since we're 1,000, we're going to get you to 1,000. So we'll try to do what we can to give you help as much as you need it,
Appreciate
deserve
it.
it. And I will add you in to my opening monologue, making it longer, but much better and much sweeter for everybody out there.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
But it's the Los Angeles Lakers. You and I both talk about it quite a bit, whether we're on other shows or this show. We do go ahead and try to promote it as best we can. The Lakers, they are probably the most quintessential NBA franchise that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's for good or bad, depending on who you talk to. People either love you or hate you because you're a Lakers fan. And speaking of the devil, he's joining us now. It is Joe Soro. He is here after all, not doing Joe things. But Joe, you have a mission in life now. Now that we are over 1,000 and we're going to get hopefully to 10, 100,000 subscribers, we're getting Empire Jeff to 1,000 subscribers. You and I, new mission, my friend. We're going to help him get over that hump.
Good, good. That's what we do here. We succeed and we spread the success everywhere. I'm a firm believer in internally making sure that happens. We don't need someone else to tell us, and we don't need someone else to make us do it. It's how you're supposed to do it. So again, it's search. Be careful with the extra S after my name. People might think I'm related to the other guy. It's
the
at
other guy.
At least put an apostrophe after the O. Just a heads up. But anyway,
yeah, that could be the case, Kurt, because he told me he was going to be able to make it. So maybe it was the Joe impression that got him on the show today. I was feeling like if I was going to have to talk to Laker Tom, I was going to call him Laker Tommy, but I don't know. He might yell at me for that. But I want to ask.
It was a good impression. It was a good impression.
I don't. Gerald.
And Joe, it's nice to meet you. By the way, it's nice to meet you. I've been watching you for a while.
Welcome to the show, and
in the middle of my Laker Tom
more
impersonation. But
you were doing a
so
Tom
stupid,
impression,
Gerald.
You were doing a Tom impression.
Yeah, because if he's telling me in a gruff voice that I'm so stupid, that's Laker Tom to a T. But Empire Jeff, because if you tell him he's wrong or you disagree with him, you're stupid in his mind. So he tells that to Jamie all the time, and you'll hear it tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Laker Holics.
So you did an impression of me, huh?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But Jeff, it is the Lakers now. 11 minutes in, and we haven't even touched on the Lakers. I want to ask you this, my friend. When it comes to the Lakers off season, that's the first thing I want to ask you. Rob Pelinka coming off the fact that he probably saved his job at the trade deadline, and he is now riding that high and the momentum. He went out, he made some, I think, solid, and as you've watched this show, maybe the best he could with what he had. These guys aren't movers and shakers, but if they're done, if they play right, if they go ahead and help out, they can each help the team in their own way. Your thoughts on the offseason moves by the Los Angeles Lakers?
I love it. Smart, calculated, got the players seeming that they wanted to because they targeted them right out the gate and got them. I like what Rob is doing as far as he's clearly going the way of constructing roster spots between probably the 12 to 18 million range, which lines you up from a trade beautifully down the road. They're all value contracts, especially over the next 2 summers. So I think on September 7th, they can extend Vando. And if they can get him in the 12 to $15 million range, that's another contract that's lined up. So like you guys were talking on your show last night, if it gets to a point, Dallas or Milwaukee, their stars start getting a little uncomfortable and those owners might panic and not let them hit free agency, Lakers will be primed and ready amongst other players as well. So I like what they're doing because it makes them contend this year, makes them compete, financial flexibility, and now the future and beyond, both with the roster they have, being able to add it. And what impressed me the most is to me, it sounded like Rob told Clutch to get the heck out of his office, let him have this summer. And he did it. And he kind of took his team back. And they did sign one Clutch client, but it's been a guy that Rob has seemed to wanted for a while in Cam Reddish. But outside of that, I pretty much love everything he's done. He's still got 2 roster spots left. And interested to see what they do with that. If some of these guys get released by these other teams and they can take them into their trade exception, that'd be great too. So I love the position they're in right now.
Absolutely, indeed. Once again, it is Empire Jeff from EmpireJeffTV. Let's go ahead and make sure you go ahead and subscribe today. He needs more subscribers. So please go ahead and subscribe today to EmpireJeffTV on YouTube, where you go ahead and check out not only his work there, but also the Agree to Disagree podcast. Joe, before I hit him up with more questions on the Lakers and what their outlook is like this season, any questions, my friend, while you're in the middle of munching on your dinner for this weekend?
Pretty much. I'm going to be partying tonight, so I want to get some food.
Good for you, sir. Good for you, sir.
Yes, thank you. So, Empire Jeff. What's the genesis of the Empire Jeff name?
It's funny, man. Waiting a long time for someone to ask me that. And no one ever really does. It was, long story short, my family's from New York, so I'm an Empire State just fanatic. That's the first part of it. I had an independent record label for about 10 years. Part of the name had the word Empire in it. And during one of the shows, the artist was like shouting me out on stage, and they're like, he is Empire. He's Empire Jeff. And it stuck. Like, you don't pick the nickname, it picks you. And it just kind of stuck. And that's what it is. So it's been about 10 years since I've had that kind of nickname. I didn't know how much I liked it in the beginning, but I love it now, and it seems to work. And that's pretty much the genesis of it.
What's your goal with your channel? What are you trying to do?
He's grilling you, by the way.
The goal of the channel is it's changed a couple times. So I initially started it to wanted to do long form, and then like I was telling to Gerald, I just ended up being regulars on other people's show. So kind of doing the time to do my own and that it just became like snippets and doing that. So ideally, I want to build out something where I'm steady live a couple times a week and doing these short term videos in between and just kind of tell the NBA with my version of the story. I don't know if you've listened to my channel or not, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that do things. I feel I'm a little different, but at the same time, it's basketball, it's Lakers, and I just add my little twist to it. So I would love to grow on top of that.
Yeah, the commentating on the NBA in general, or just sports in general, has, I believe, hit because it's so saturated. It's saturated online. The lack of talent from the big networks has just, and again, I don't know the ratings for these shows, but I do feel like I have a say in this because in the 90s and the 2000s, and then it started slowly going bad into 2010s, there used to, they always say there's a golden era. Okay, there was a golden era in everything, right? The golden era of sports TV, sports talk was the 90s. 2000 wasn't bad either. I'd say 90s and 2000, you could probably put them together and say they were pretty good. But then it started to change, I believe, in 2010 or 2010s, because I think there was this needing to fulfill something that wasn't there. At least some thought there was, and now they just keep doubling down on more of it. And the more they double down, the more they keep losing. And I seriously do not watch ESPN unless there's a game on, or if they're doing a 30 by 30 show. Which, by the way, they went from being the baddest guys in the game, doing sports commentating and personalities and all that, to doing phenomenal documentary movies. They should just stick to that and just scrap whatever garbage they have on ESPN. And 90% of that talent that they find, I don't know where. All that needs to go. So what does that mean for us? It's actually a good thing for us because now we're going to hold those guys accountable. And I say us as in we're a little bit coming in late in this, a little bit, because you have guys like, what's his name? God, I just drew a blank. Who's the guy that ESPN just hired? The punter for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, McAfee?
The punter.
McAfee. Okay, so
yeah,
McAfee,
they laid off all those people so they could hire him and throw tens of millions of dollars.
So they've started understanding. Just so you guys know, I didn't just make this up in the air. They know it now. They know it. So this is the time now to tail into McAfee and tail into what matters. What did McAfee do, in my opinion, in my view, that very few guys in this business were doing? He got Aaron Rodgers. He got his trust. That's what we want to do. We want people to trust the guys, whereas they weren't trusting anybody anymore, and they didn't want to talk to these no-talent clowns because they don't have any talent to talk to. No, when you don't send, you send Diane Sawyer, you send Barbara Walters back in the day when you wanted to really interview someone that mattered. Hell, even Saddam Hussein, when they were trying to interview him, he's like, I want Diane Sawyer. You want to interview me? I want Diane Sawyer. Talent matters, okay? And now is the time. Now with the formats being what they are, podcasts, YouTube, whatever it is, this is the time now for that resurgence of talent to get the information out in a correct way, in my opinion, instead of being a robot. Okay, we're asked for our opinions and our analysis. Do it right. And by the way, the big problem is these idiots don't have any knowledge of what they're talking about. They don't even watch this crap. So why am I going to listen to some person? You don't think I know that's a teleprompter? I used to read it myself for a very short amount of time. I know what that is. If you need Joe producer guy to tell you what to say about the sport, and you have some basic lame response, why Giannis is this or why Kawhi is that, why the hell am I going to want to listen to you if you're just being fed that BS? This isn't the WWE. Not everything is shouldn't be scripted. So I'm just saying that's my little rant for the day.
As Devotion says, Joe just ruined any chance he has to work at ESPN. But he doesn't care. That's why Joe is.
If I bring 10 million people with me, oh, you damn well better believe they'll look at me.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're just looking at numbers at this point. But I agree with everything you said. I think you said talent does matter, and I think you hit it on the head with the timing range, because it was the golden era of media in the 90s and in the early 2000s for the NBA. And then I think in 2010, I think the main reason behind it all was social media, because what happened was everyone got a voice. We always complained about the gatekeepers, and when they got rid of the gatekeeper, we started to miss the gatekeeper, right? So it was like same thing with music. So it kind of came in where all these guys, salute my guy Christian, they came out to where a lot of these guys, they're not hiring them for the talent anymore. They're hiring them for the base that they bring, and it's the shock factor, and it's the clickbait, and the actual talent is out the window. And like you said, the trust. The NBA players don't trust these guys. I don't know if you guys know who Cuffs the Legend is. He's got the Some Dude podcast, and he's been going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith about it. And he goes, you'll never get the players because they do not trust you. Players will not come to you. They will not trust you. They'll go to JJ Redick on his podcast, but they will not come to you. And they hit it right on the head. So I 100% agree with what you said.
So we were talking about Siskel and Ebert back in the 70s. Two guys, both film critics, talking to each other on TV. At that time, it was Alien, right? At that time in the 70s, people who were on TV looked like either they were immensely talented like Gene Hackman, or they looked like movie stars.
But once they went to syndication in the 80s and 90s and got over huge and became the preeminent entertainment critics, they just got over huge. Their weight on what they said on their thumbs up and thumbs down was actually like people were really following it. I know I was following it. I would take a second. If I thought I wanted to go see a movie and they gave it a thumbs down, that would give me pause. And I would have to do more research to see if I actually wanted to spend money at the theater. So they make actual financial decisions for some of these different studios because of what they did. So
like restaurant critics,
where Roger Ebert made his bones, because I didn't like that he could not, and Gene also was that's why they got into arguments. Context of the film, like look. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is not going to win an Oscar, but I'll watch that movie 500 times in a row and not and say it's a great movie.
Alrighty then.
So we know it's not Shawshank. We get that. But what Roger Ebert did that was crucial in him becoming obviously great at what he did, but also become one of the icons of movies, of entertainment, is he was close to the directors. He was close to Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese makes Color of Money with two of the biggest movie stars. One in his twilight wins an Oscar in that film, and you got the up-and-coming guy in Tom Cruise, and you had Elizabeth Shue, who was making her name at the time, right? He makes this fabulous popcorn film, right? Because Martin's been doing Taxi Driver. He's doing Raging Bull. He's like, let me have some fun. Let me go hang out with Paul Newman. Paul Newman, even at that age, was the coolest man on the planet. And then he had Tom Cruise, and he had a good cast, everyone doing their thing. Roger goes to criticize critique his film and says, no. You're Martin Scorsese. You don't do this BS. Leave this for the popcorn guys. You're Martin effing Scorsese. I'll accept it this time, but I'm not gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. 4 years later, we have, my opinion, probably the greatest film ever made in Goodfellas. Next to Godfather. Like Godfather and Goodfellas tend to kind of they turn on the fourth turn is like sometimes I decide which one I want, right? So Martin Scorsese discusses this and he says, hey man, Roger didn't like my stuff. He didn't whine. He didn't cry. Roger didn't whine. It didn't cry. It was accepted because he was close to them. It's like I've told you guys about my friends in business. I have friends I've known 30 years, 25 years. They're my friends, guys I would slit people's throats for. But at the same time, I wouldn't put them in charge of this bottle. right? Like, know the difference. It's not, the world doesn't work one side or the other. It's a gray area in 99% of it. You know, like that's what's going to be important in terms of how this is building. And part of it is helping you, Jeff. Part of it is helping those who are coming onto the show discussing teams that they're following, so that we spread this thing out, we all help each other out, and we all have a network that we can tap into in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, where, oh, Jeff's working this gig over here. He's got this thing on point. This is what he's been doing for the last year. We got to get Jeff on the show, or we got to go on Jeff's show and talk about it. And then that opens up even more of a network for fans and whomever.
Absolutely. Very well said. Can we talk Lakers now, Joe?
Hey, you're the maestro. You can do what you want.
You've been maestro. You've been playing your own solo, Mr. Sorrow, for the past 10 minutes on that. But once again, it is Empire Jeff from EmpireJeffTV. I want to ask you this, though, Jeff. When it comes to the Lakers, though, where are you seeing them this season? I mean, we got the new additions. Again, I like them. You like them as well. I think they're going to be okay for us. But I think the fact that, as you hit it on the head right there, with the amount of tradable contracts, it gives us so much flexibility to, if we're close like we were last year, make a move or two to get us over the top. Your thoughts on where the Lakers stand going into the season?
To follow up what I said, I think they're in a great spot. I think a lot of it comes down to how D'Lo plays. And if D'Lo comes out and plays well, the sky's the limit for the team, because he's kind of like a cheat code for them. So I like their depth. Darvin Ham going into his second year. Hopefully he's learned from some of his mistakes as a rookie coach in his first year. I'm not as hard on, Darvin as most people are, but I understand he is a rookie coach.
We were very hard on him.
No, a lot of people were. But I mean, if you take it in context and you're thinking about it, I understand he's been in the league forever. I understand he's been an assistant forever, and I understand that he was an assistant on a championship team. I understand all that, but you can be a passenger in a car all you want until you get the keys and sit behind the wheel and you're in control of everyone's lives, in control of everything. That's a completely different situation. So sometimes, no matter how long you've been in the league, you got to get ready for that, and you got to go through that, and you got to find yourself through that, and add LeBron James and the Lakers to that as your first gig. So I told myself I'm going to give that guy a good year and a half. And I went through the first year. I feel he kind of got better towards the end of the year, had some goofs later. But I think he's going to learn from it. I think he has a better roster definitely to start this season than he did last year. And I think he will build on that. And I think the Lakers did a disservice by not giving him a better assistant coach to start. So that kind of hurt them. But going forward, I think I really like the depth. I like the balance. I like the potential rotations that could be. I like that I think they could be improved defensively. I think they finished 11th in defense last year. They made a push towards the end. I think they're going to be better both offensively, defensively. The two biggest problems were offensive rebounding and getting, transition defense. They've improved that. If they can just make some threes, and fix those two things, then we're off to the races. And I think they will shock the heck out of people this year. If they don't, they've got trade cards.
Yeah, that's true. And they finished 27th last year in 3-point efficiency. The guys they got aren't, based off their current career standings, aren't going to move the needle substantially. But as I've said, if they get it to, let's say, from 27th to 20th or 18th in 3-point efficiency, that helps everything so much more.
Yep, I agree. And if you look at it, so another area they improved in, they went from like the start of last year, they were one of the oldest teams in the league. They're now the 13th youngest team in the league. Well, that's a great place you want to be in. You don't want to be too young. You don't want to be too old. They're perfect. They're right there in the perfect age bracket, right at about 27 years. Clippers, the oldest team in the league. Good for them. But outside of that, so that's going to help. Legs are going to be fresher. I also think a full offseason with Phil Handy is going to help Vanderbilt in that corner three and some type of offensive game. Rui looks like he's trimmed down and looks like he's looking to become 3-and-D. They don't want Braun guarding the wings. So it looks like Rui may be the guy to do that. I don't know if you guys saw the Lakers got to be careful, man. They're going to get all these guys tested for steroids with all these pictures they're posting out there, man. But outside of that, Rui looks great. I think they're going to try to have him be the 3-and-D. We all saw what he shot for 3 in the playoffs. So I'm excited. And I think that D'Lo is an incredible chip. He either balls out and takes us to the next level, or he is so-so and they move him for something. I think I already know what their targets are with him, and it lines up perfectly contractually. So they're in a great place. They got him in a great deal. the option, everything. It's just such a perfect deal to move if you have to.
Once again, it is Empire Jeff from EmpireJeffTV. Please go ahead and check out his awesome YouTube channel, EmpireJeffTV. Please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when he goes live on the air with EmpireJeffTV's great stuff that he's got going on there, including the Agree to Disagree podcast. Joe, what are your thoughts with Empire Jeff as far as the Lakers? Do you like what you heard so far? And what questions do you have for him concerning the LA Lakers?
Yes, we were hard on Darvin Ham, and those who weren't hard on him, trying to give him a chance, have merit there too. But he was making some rookie mistakes, and it was compounded by the fact that we were in a miserable situation. So we were not only just destroying Darvin Ham, we were destroying everything Laker management. I was harsh on Jeannie. I was harsh on Rob, and to the point where I kind of apologized, and I got called a snatch for it. And I'm using the PG word. So yeah, I got it. Not only did I feel bad for doing
Welcome
what I
to
did,
Joe Soro.
I got double smacked for feeling bad on top of it. So I lost both ways. But really, when you're emotional and you care a lot, there is that division. There is a division of knowing that it comes from a place of frustration, care. But at the same time, it was a lesson learned too, that because I was hard on Jeannie, calling her a, circus wrangler and all that crap. Even though that's what she did, when she started, she was doing the smaller gigs to bring people to the forum at the beginning of the bus ownership. But that's not fair. Everybody starts somewhere, right? We started at 0 subscriptions, right? Now here we are. We keep ascending. We start somewhere, so you shouldn't ever criticize somebody for being at a level if that's where they're starting at. But Darvin Ham made up a lot of ground in the playoffs. I actually was very impressed. Stone Cold Hansen wasn't, but I was impressed that he improved so much, especially in an area where the pressure was even harder. And maybe that's Darvin Ham's MO. Maybe he focuses more when he's under pressure. And he showed it in the first 2 rounds of the Western Conference playoffs. It's just unfortunate that his 2 big guns just kind of ran out of gas there towards the end. And you were mentioning D'Lo. D'Lo couldn't be that third guy that we needed at the time. And, that's going to be the determining factor this year if the Lakers are going to either keep him or have a chance at winning it all. So I'm excited for this season for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm excited that almost everyone's putting in the work that matter. That's huge. Guys like Austin Reeves, obviously with him having the advantage of playing international basketball, he's going to be in shape way ahead of everybody. Kind of like how Dennis Schroeder was last year in the Euro. Is it called the Euro basket?
I forget what it's called, but I know he was killing it last year.
Yeah, the Euro whatever international tournament that he was in.
It was a qualifier to get.
Well, what's the name? Euro something. I keep forgetting the name. Anyways, so he came into the season and had a really good season. So we're going to have that with Austin. Obviously, we've seen Rui. He's looking real good. I've never seen AD this lean and big, almost looking like Dwight Howard in his prime in terms of the shoulders. LeBron looks like whatever he did in the offseason, looks like he's ready to, give us some info this training camp in about a month or so to show what he's done. And Darvin Ham has a good season under his belt, somewhere where he took his team as a rookie to the Western Conference Finals.
You may be right, Kurt, at Eurovision. So
I don't think it's Vision.
I'll look it up while you guys go. But
so we're doing all the right things in the offseason. Obviously, Rob Pelinka constructed this team as well as he could have with the resources he had, and we are missing a couple of players, but they're waiting as they should for the right guys to fill those slots. And I'm hoping that we have I think that's going to take a little luck, and I'm hoping for that. And I believe if we don't get it by season start, I think at some point they will get that player or players before the playoffs.
There you go. Absolutely. But Empire Jeff, where do you see them as far as for the regular season? Before I ask you what Tears of Joy wanted to ask you in regards to starting lineup, where do you see them heading into the playoffs? Do you see them as a top 4 seed? Do you see them maybe still like what happened, maybe another injury to LeBron or AD is expected, and maybe they won't get up as high and have to do it all over again from a lower seed? What are your thoughts on where they might end up heading into the playoffs?
I might be a little overconfident, to be honest with you. I definitely see them a top 4 seed, probably a top 3 seed. The reason being because of that 65 game thing, Braun is still adding to his legacy. He wants more all NBA on his resume. So, and AD wants to get back to that. And so I think AD, Joe said it. So AD is at his best when he's his agility. When he's agile, AD, he's at his best. But he's been agile and then he's been bulky. He's never been both. So I like what Joe said about he looks like he's getting fit. He looks like he's going to have stamina, but he's going to be strong. And we haven't seen that version of him yet. I think that will help with his injuries. And I like the depth to keep them to have less minutes to keep them healthier. So I think the Lakers are going to be a top 4 seed as long as they stay healthy. I think the guys are going to chase the all NBA selections. And so I'm high on them. And I really think that people that are the over-unders, I think people are underselling them. I absolutely think they get more than 45 wins, and I think they cross over 50.
There you go. That's pretty much where we have got them right now, between 47 and 52. Although it is predicated on the health of LeBron and AD. How many games each do you think we need from them in order to get to the number you're talking about?
We need the 65 each. Like we need 65 to 70. And I think the depth is low enough to carry them on the back-to-back nights against, we're young. We can run with the teams that aren't going to play very well. The young, the Orlandos, the OKCs. Oh, they'll play well, but I'm talking about like that when they sit out and on the back-to-back nights, and they have less this year. So I think these young guys, if they take the next step, like I said, Austin Reeves stepping up, if Max Christie has any type of leap this year and they're high on him, if he gets, depending on what type of minutes he gets, the youth is the depth will set them free. So my number for them is 55 wins. I think they can get to that if the Braun and AD play 65 or higher and the young kids deliver. Like I said, I think I might be a little over optimistic, but I could just see this being a real special year.
Once again, it is EmpireJeffTV. Please go ahead and check them out today at EmpireJeffTV on YouTube. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on his great shows. A lot of them are really quick right there, easy to watch, because, that's what YouTube usually targets, those under or right around 10-minute shows right there for you. In this generation of YouTube, it's like, oh, you got to catch something fast. Well, he's got it for you. Plenty of great shows there. Plus his Agree to Disagree podcast also on the channel. Those are much more long form, as he was talking about, and you've got to check those out as well. But you can only do that by going and heading over to EmpireJeffTV on YouTube and subscribing. He needs to get to 1,000. We need to get him to 1,000. Please help out today by subscribing to EmpireJeffTV.
Thank you.
Joe, any questions more on that? Because I'm going to talk to him about the starting lineup here in a second, but anything else before I hit him up with?
I will. I think it'd be best to ask questions once I see the show. Then I can have some valid questions that pertain to.
Well, I'm also rolling out the red carpet for our post games and our regular shows. He's going to be on the mailing list, so anytime he wants to step on by, Joe, he could just pop on anytime he wants.
I've already followed Jeff on Instagram. This was earlier today. I don't post anything on my Instagram, Jeff. So you don't have to worry about me.
It's all good. It's all
taking selfies while I'm at a restaurant taking pictures of food. You'll never.
I don't post nowhere near as much as I used to.
Yeah, I don't do that stuff. Most of the stuff that's on there might be tagged pictures of family and friends. That's it. Yeah. But I have just subscribed to the YouTube.
Thank you.
So we're gonna start supporting our network and our people. And that's again how it's supposed to work. And slowly our audience here will venture into yours will venture into ours, and then eventually down the road when Gerald's in the 7-figure range finally, we're gonna have a nice little get together where we can speak to everyone, and I'll have some nice things to say to the naysayers for Gerald. And it won't be unless there's children there, of course. It won't be
earmuffs.
It won't be PG.
Usually never is with him. But getting back to what I was going to talk about, I was setting him up for a Lakers question, but okay, I get that. It was asked by Through the Wire in the chat about the possibility for whatever Lakers starting lineup. And I know if you heard me the other day arguing with Laker Tom, I didn't even want to argue with him, but he was getting mad. He was adamant that AD's got to be a 4. He's got to be a 4. I'll bet you, Gerald. I don't even want to bet, but I'll bet you, Gerald. I said, okay, all right, I'll bet you. Okay, all right. But what is your starting lineup that you think that they will start off with? I mean, because they can figure out 4 of the pieces are easy. That last piece is the really tricky part of the puzzle for the start of the season.
Yeah, so that it's hard to say because I don't know what these final 2 roster spots are going to be. If we're going strictly off what we currently have, and again, I think the AD at the 4 thing is a false narrative. I think it's overhyped. So my thing with AD, it doesn't matter where AD plays. He just needs he needs a bruiser out there. So AD can't be the guy who bodies up against the team's best big, tries to block the shot, get the rebound, play the best defense, get back, and then you expect them to drop 30 on someone. That's unrealistic. It's not about the 4 or the 5. AD is at his best when he can play free safety and he can come in, that someone can bump their big and he can come by and swat it out the air. When the big has to wonder where AD is, he's more effective than when he knows where AD is. So it doesn't matter where he's playing the 4 or where he's playing the 5. It doesn't matter. What they need is they need a guy to do the dirty work. That's the guy they need. But then that guy could be the problem because he can clog up the paint and take away from AD and force AD outside. So it's a give and take of what you want. But I don't think you need AD to play the 4. That's the one thing. But if we're going to sit here right now and we're going to say the starting 5 right now, it probably is going to be, if I had to guess, it's going to be D'Lo, Austin, Rui, Braun, and AD. And with Rui, because Braun, they can't have Braun chase the wings anymore. It's a walking, talking layup for the other team. So if you got AD, holding down the post, and if you got Braun out there trying to chase the wings, we're in trouble. Rui's going to be out there chasing the wings. As far as this roster is constructed, something happens and they land someone else, then that changes. But that's how I see it right now. There could be some other things that happen. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they put Vando out there. But I think they're trying to get Rui to be that guy.
I'll tell you what, though, it's great to hear your thoughts. I'm truly thankful that you got a chance to come ahead and get on the show to talk about it. But the thing is, though, Jeff, when it comes to the starting lineup, if you listen to Laker Tom, whether or not you get Christian Wood, and by the way, thank you for not posting 300 Christian Wood episodes in the past 2 months.
Don't even bring them up.
Yeah, it's just like, my gosh, it's obscene. I mean, we've had to bring them up from time to time. And then, of course, we answer the chat when they talk about them. We have dedicated a couple episodes, but you've seen with other Lakers shows how much to the extreme that they've been focusing on Christian Wood, regardless of whether we get him or not. The fact is that LeBron playing the 3 is not a great option at a guy turning 39 years old.
Nope.
That was my mentality. That was my thinking on why AD is playing the 5, why he was playing the 5 predominantly last year, and why he'll predominantly play the 5 this year. As much as they want to shoehorn a center like they try to do last year in training camp with Damian Jones, they're realizing it's just probably not going to work because you have to have LeBron then run around screens after wings. And at 38, that's really not a wise decision to make.
And then you want him shooting threes at the end of the game with no legs like he did in Denver and then complain about it, right? So it's like that's another note real quick. AD's been playing center since 2016. So he's a center. Like, he's a center.
As his body has filled out, and as Cousins getting injured, that really changed things as far as where he was playing. And you saw him migrating less power forward and much more center. So again, to me, it's just the fact is, where are you going to put LeBron? You really going to put LeBron to the 3? Really? Oh, I don't know. Joe, do you have anything to add on to that?
The AD playing center is similar to Powell playing center when Bynum was starting at center. What you had him start at the power forward position. You had him doing his natural position. Then Bynum did his thing for 20 to 25 minutes. And then when you needed to close things, then you used AD as the 5, which is fine. They did that in 2020 and they won a championship. And AD was, in my opinion, the defensive player of the year that year. And had we not had a stoppage with COVID, he would have been. I don't know what the hell happened to these freaking writers. I don't know. The vote wasn't even close. That was probably what pissed me off.
Mhm.
They voted Giannis, which, Giannis is a great defender. But to be that far out, number one, no. AD got robbed of that award that year. He was the best defensive player. In my opinion, still the best defensive player in the league, even better than Marcus Smart, any guard. He's
not even close.
Not even close. So if you can, what you want to do is you want to mimic that setup, because we've won 3 championships doing that in the last 15 years. And when we've had it, it's worked. So we just might have to wait. We might have to wait till the season is going. So that means AD is likely going to start at the 5. LeBron cannot play the 3. So he's got to be kind of a point guard. I mean, it can.
So
I don't know. Can Austin Reeves play defense against the elite wings?
He's doing really good right now for the most part in Team USA. But Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Ideally, you want Vando and Rui guarding the wings. Ideally, and Max Christie probably. Ideally, that's what you want guarding the wings. I will say that another narrative that I struggle with is the 2021 because a lot of people talk about the Dwight and McGee situation, but I think they forget the part where they got benched, and Keith Morris was the power forward on that team. AD switched to center. And when AD went to center, that was our death lineup. So at the end of the day, we've been at our best and won a championship with AD playing primarily the 5. And Keith Morris was primarily the 4 on that title run. So, but as far as guarding the wings, I agree. Like, Bron cannot guard the wings. He should not be out there. He's too old. Joe said kind of point. I think there will be times that Bron has, until I see Bron like literally say, okay, you're the point guard, kind of like a la Kyrie and James Harden. You're the point guard, just go. He's kind of going to be the point power, right? He's going to guard the 4s on defense, and he's going to have the ball in his hands. As far as Austin Reeves guarding wings, I think Austin has the potential to be a very good team defender. Very good team defender. As far as he's gritty enough on defense, but he's not a lockdown defender, obviously. But ideally, you're probably going to want Vando, Rui, and Christie. And everyone seems to talk a lot about Cam Reddish's defense. I personally have yet to see it in the NBA. But
I'd like to see a jump shot shot he can hit consistently.
Yes.
That's first and foremost.
Yes. So that's what I think his strengths are. I think I could be wrong. If he comes in and Phil Handy or these guys turn this guy into, a defender, then hallelujah, but I'm not expecting that out the top. But I don't think Bron should be anywhere near wings. I don't think that's ideal at all.
No, and I agree with you on that. I know Hassan kind of disagrees. He said it'll be fine at 3. He's playing better than most in the NBA. Yes, but Hassan, you've seen the games, and we've noted the games, Jeff, here on the show, Joe as well, where we've seen how taxing it is. There are some days where you just have LeBron with zero energy. Sometimes he feels frisky, and you think he's going to go ahead and dominate the world just like he just once did. But those games don't come every game now these days. You can see the times where he's he's tired. He doesn't have the lift that he once did all the time, especially when he's fatigued. Father Time catches up with everybody, and it's running close behind him, like the commercial. It's tapped him on the shoulder, but it hasn't quite caught up with him yet.
If you want LeBron to guard 3s, you better play him 28, 29 minutes a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Max.
There is no,
yeah.
And that's just that. I don't care if he's guarding 3s, 1s, or 10s. He cannot play more than 28, 29 minutes. In the regular season.
He doesn't even defend the 3s. He doesn't go around the screens. He just lets them shoot the outside. You see him all the time let them shoot outside. It's only when they piss him off for some reason or they talk some smack to him that he goes and he gets in a stance and he goes and tries to recreate what he once was. But that's only if you talk smack to him. For the most part, he just lets this guy's like an average NBA shooter. I'll just let him shoot from the outside. That's what his deal is. So why not just say, you know what, instead of letting the other team take so many shots from the outside, play him down low as a 4. He'll get the rebound and take it up himself for a fast break. That's
and
the tempo is so important to this team.
Very, very. And the funny thing about it, like you said, he'll let the guy who does a shooter a horrible shooter. But when you're unguarded in the NBA, you hit 1 or 2, you get hot. And that's Braun guy that's catching fire. And it's horrible, right? And another part about it is, so it's like Braun being fine at the 3 is about as good as Memphis being fine in the West. So we saw how that ended. He's not fine at the 3, like at all.
Absolutely. Joe, anything to add on to that?
No, I'm curious to see how the Rui Austin Reeves dynamic gets figured out. Because if you're going to start with AD at the 5, LeBron, let's say point, that means D'Angelo is going to be the hybrid 2-1. So basically LeBron and D'Angelo are going to be the switching off on the ball handling, right? Then you have Austin Reeves doing more ISO creation and then getting to the basket like he did last year. Then you have Rui floating around, keeping the lane open with AD. How's that going to all work out is going to be interesting during training camp. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on. Which player is going to benefit this team playing off the bench when he didn't expect to play off the bench? That is going to be a huge Darvin Ham decision down the road. Now, if we get a center who can play, who can start, it'll be even more interesting because for sure one of those guys is going to have to go to the bench. Likely it's going to be Rui, which is good because you get that initial scoring punch off the bench. When you have a lead, he can sustain it, help sustain it. And then, of course, if he's hot, you can leave him in, take D'Angelo out if he's struggling. If you're moving AD to 5 towards the end of the games and you put Rui at the 4, he's guarding the 4s, or maybe you can have him guard 3s. You have a lot of flexibility there. Again, we're talking about 5, maybe 6 guys. We're not even talking about the guys that they've signed that some have something to prove, some that have shown that they're improving, and some that might be a difference maker, a la Max Christie. Imagine if Max Christie comes into this season being able to stay in front of his guy and hit at a 35, 37 clip from 3, let's say it's 37, and is shooting about 4 or 5 a game. That could be huge.
Yep, absolutely. And he might. And
that we have not factored that into our discussion, really, other than a few throws in there during the summer. But if Max Christie is, let's say he's impactful like Austin Reeves was last year, oh my God, this completely changes everything. It completely changes everything. Now your floor is going to be spread even more. You are going to have LeBron doing layup lines, and the pick and roll offense is going to be much, much better as well because there's going to be a threat from the corner, from the edge, doesn't matter. And on top of that, he can play defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting a low rent 3-and-D guy that you got in the second round. And in his second year, he's an integral part of the rotation. That is huge. We haven't talked about Gabe Vincent and whoever. We have no idea. We have no idea which one of these guys. Any one of these guys that helps is going to be enough. Just 2 of them, actually. If 2 more players besides the starting 5 improve so much this year, where they're assets, it's going to. The prediction you had, as long as LeBron and AD stay healthy, might not be that far off. It might not be far off from 55 games because if LeBron needs to rest, I think LeBron needs to play 65 games, no more than 29 minutes a game. AD, I want him to play 70 to 75, honestly. 70, 72, if you want me to be, realistic. He plays 70, 72 games, and he is on course of winning a Defensive Player of the Year at least. That right there is another one that gets much, much better than it was last year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think with Chris, if you saw him at the end last year, towards the end of the year when he was getting some kind of garbage minutes, and then in summer league, you could see his body has matured. And early on in the season, he was he's a very good defender, but he didn't have the discipline on the pump fake. He seemed to clean that up towards the end of the year, and I really liked seeing that. And I forgot we haven't even brought up like Prince, right? Like we didn't bring up So that's another guy that's going to help guard the wing. So that him off the bench and Gabe Vincent off the bench, those guys are going to have solid years. Like I'm not saying they're going to be great, but the Gabe Vincent has proven to be good in high leverage situations. So I like those guys coming off the bench. And then Prince, Prince is a solid pickup for what they got him from. When they first announced him, they didn't say the money. I'm like, please don't tell me they got him at the full mid level. I would have been upset. But at the biannual, that was a great deal. He took a pay cut. So that was great. And the way that his contract is structured for what they can trade him for, and the salaries and stuff, like the way they got him lined up is so beautiful. You can almost see what Rob is doing when you know the math. So it's gonna be, I'm telling you, they have the chance to get crazy midseason if they want to. They've got so many things they can line up. It's kind of they can pivot to 3 or 4 different options at any time after December 15th.
Once again, it is EmpireJeffTV. Please go ahead and check out his awesome YouTube channel, EmpireJeffTV, plus also his great podcasts. Please go ahead. You can agree to disagree today with his Agree to Disagree podcast, available right there on YouTube at the EmpireJeffTV channel. Subscribe. Joe did today. I already have.
Thank you.
You got to go ahead and catch up with us right here at EmpireJeffTV. But before we head out, R. Anthony has a great question and great thought. I think this is why Rui slimmed down to potentially become quicker, so both he and Vando can focus on guarding wings. I do think LeBron will try to defend threes in the playoffs. What do you think? First off, he better do what Joe said and only limit his minutes to 28 to 30 minutes a game. If that's the case, he will be fresh enough to do that. And yes, he'll probably try to guard some threes during the playoffs, because as we talked about, guarding threes in the regular season, it probably won't be something he does very often, Jeff.
No, I don't think so. And I don't think he wants to. They don't want to. And God knows we don't want him to. So I completely agree.
Joe, I'll tell you what, Jeff's been a great addition to what we're doing here. Again, you can come on whenever you want. We're just going to send the invites. You just ignore them like Laker Tom does throughout the week, or you just go ahead and just come on when you want. Jamie usually will respond.
Every
back.
operation has a diva.
Yes.
I got to get on the show with him that day. I got to, from what I hear, I've seen him a couple times, and obviously I've seen his site, but I've got to get on.
He'll be here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Him and Jamie will be arguing with each other. Now, Jamie at least tells you, he's going camping, or he's doing a show because he does a musical show of his own, but also, or he's playing Dungeons and Dragons. He'll tell you. But Laker Tom, he's cool. We just leave him be in when he joins us. Especially if the Lakers win. If the Lakers win and it's early, he's always here for that. So that's good. But
gotcha.
But if they lose or it's late, it's past his bedtime. No way. But Jeff, before we head out, please, it's time for you to do the hard sell. I go ahead and I've pitched it several times, but maybe someone didn't hear me correctly. Why do people need to check out EmpireJeffTV on YouTube?
Well, I think I have a quality show. I would love for you to, first of all, to check it out to see if I'm right or wrong, right? So check it out. My last 3 episodes are something you could pretty much tell everything I am from a content creator from these last 3 shows. It's informative. It's got some comedy, goofiness, ridiculous numbers. I'm a big CBA cap numbers guy. I consider myself one of the top ones out there. So I'll take that challenge almost any time. So if you want to go and check that out, my last 3 episodes were 1, why Dame Lillard is the cause of what's going on in Portland. 2, why Philly has to trade James Harden immediately. And what was the 3rd one that I did? Oh, the hilarious story about how Pizza Friday was the kickoff to this drama in Philly. And it's true. It's hilarious. I can't believe it happened, but it did. Check that out. EmpireJeffTV on YouTube. At EmpireJeff_ at, I don't even know what we call it anymore. Twitter, X, combination of the 2. I don't know, but I'm there. And, check me out. If you don't like me in the beginning, maybe I'll grow on you.
There you go. Absolutely. Indeed. It's EmpireJeffTV. Please go ahead and check them out today on social media, Twitter X, or whatever Elon wants to call it. And of course, subscribe today. Our goal is to get John McCallion, Empire Jeff, everybody associated that comes on the show. If they've got something, we're going to go ahead and try and plug it and try and help and support it. That's what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. But Jeff, it's been great having you here. I know your time is limited. I know the missus just like my missus gives me the side eye and says, "You got this time," and that's it. So I hear you, my friend. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
No, I'm just appreciative. No, she's really like supportive. We just were double booked today, and I scheduled, and I was like, oh man. But no, I mean, obviously, congratulations to you guys on 1,000. Like I said, I really do enjoy your guys' show. I watch it. I watch it often. Try to participate in the chat as much as possible as well. You guys have great content, and like I said, I actually learned from your show. There's a lot of shows, that I watch, and it's just back and forth, and people arguing. You don't really take much from it, but I like watching shows that, one, are entertaining, and two, I can learn something from. So you guys, I appreciate it. You guys can have anyone on the show, and you allowed me on, so I appreciate that. You guys also have a very good chat. Search and Destroy, I see everywhere. Very good as well. You got a great moderator. So I'm just happy to be here, and I definitely will be back. In the words of Kyrie Irving, if you'll have me, I'll be back, and definitely look forward to it.
Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out, my friend?
I'm good at this point. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the kind words, and we're looking forward to watching your show as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone out there, please, again, for getting us over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It is because of you we do this, and we're most appreciative of it. I do want to mention, Kurt, we talked at length on the early show, our 1,000 subscriber special, about Giannis and the possibility of him coming to the Lakers. I know that Laker Tom, as you know by now, Kurt, has already done an article, or at least talked about it and tweeted about it at Laker Tom on Twitter. The guys at the Lakerholics will be talking about it on tomorrow's show, 10 a.m. on Saturday. And Magic Man and I will probably touch on it again when we do a Team USA recap, probably in the afternoon, maybe early evening. Still wait and see on that, but we will do a USA recap as well for you right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Kurt Affair, sorry you missed out, but congrats again on 1,000. No worries, my friend. Yeah, check it out. Joe had a lot of thoughts on it. I did as well, and Sean did as well. So please check out our thoughts on Giannis Antetokounmpo being a Laker. You never know. Check out on it as far as our celebration of 1,000 subscribers, and also check out EmpireJeffTV, who is now a part of what we're doing here, and it's all because of you. Thank you so much for the best Lakers chat room that's out there right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.